Hey everyone, Black Mammoth here, and this another firefight video.
Let this area fall into Covenant hands.
This one was later on when I was getting pretty skilled with the grenade launcher. Remember originally I was trying out the grenade launcher and Storm like, oh shit. Then I saw later on as I played Firefight that they had mode specifically for grenades, so grenade fight or something like that. And I was like, well, if it's gonna be, you know, unlimited ammo with these, why not? Try it out and I'm like, hey, grenade launcher's not that bad. Just went ahead, kept on using it, and soon enough I was a pro. It's definitely an interesting weapon. You gotta think about where you're gonna aim it, how far it's gonna bounce before it explodes, and of course look at the terrain for how it's even gonna bounce in the first place. You see that? That's the kind of stuff you can do with the grenade launcher if you're good with it. I remember this being notable for recording because specifically by the end of the match, all these guys were using the fuel rod guns. I think there's like one other dude that's like using something else, maybe DMRs, but the rest were all about fuel rod guns. So like I think halfway in, yeah, that guy. It's like halfway in, he's like, you know what? I'm just gonna use the fuel rod gun. Admittedly, explosives are the best way to take out all these groups of enemies for the high points in firefight. But I mean, it doesn't necessarily just have to be revolving around the rocket launcher fuel rod gun. I mean, yeah, if you're good with headshots, you can do really well you do really well against normal enemies with the something like the DMR. But yeah, you got the bigger enemies, and I mean, I suppose if you're skilled with your aim, you can still take down like elites with the you know, few buy shots, then a headshot. Yeah, you get good enough with the grenade launcher, and you can just like, you don't even need to see them. You can just guess like, okay, I think they're gonna be over here, and I'm just gonna throw that there and shazam. See that right there? That was nice.
Mythic on. Round start.
That was a nice one right there. Again, these nice multi-kills even when I can't see the enemy. That's just the skill with the bounce. Generally speaking, the manual detonation doesn't do anywhere near as good a job at damage. It's really just meant for, like, taking the shields off an elite, for instance. Of course, the shotgun does a pretty good job of that too. But, I mean, when you got an enemy pretty close, I mean, you can do decent damage with manual detonation. Yeah, I can't believe that they're actually going to have the DMR and the battle rifle together in Halo 4. I don't see the reason for having the shitty DMR in the same, in the same game as the highly superior battle rifle.
Reinforcements.
I suppose they'll probably have added a bit to make sure it's strictly a medium long range weapon, which, I mean, I suppose it was only that to begin with, not something for close range. But yeah, I mean, battle rifle is just such a great weapon. I don't see why. I mean, I wasn't the best with it myself, but I got some decent kills with it. Main thing was, though, is like, it was, it's just, you have this weapon that works, and then you suddenly are given this crappier earlier version. They're like, have fun, kids. And then they think, okay, going down a full sequel, so it's gonna be, back to the good stuff. And they're like, no, we're actually gonna keep them both. It's like, why? Why don't we just, pretend the DMR never existed and move on with our lives? It's kind of what I want to do, but apparently they won't let me. Couldn't even see him through the smoke, and I still got him. I was like, oh, that's kind of a gap there. Yeah, I know I may have mentioned this before, but yeah, I have like an undying hatred of the DMR. In case that wasn't obvious, so at this point. Just such a useless weapon, and yet they're bringing it back in Halo 4, even though the superior weapon is being brought back. I would think people are gonna ignore the DMR if they go ahead and bring Halo 4 back to the whole combat system of Halo 3, the whole, lower, decreased shields, then bash for the kill, much less health than Halo Reach. As I said, they really changed things with Halo Reach, not necessarily for the better. I suppose they were thinking, oh, since... you know, I don't know what they were thinking with some of the changes they implemented. I mean, it's like, you have this working system people like, and then you're like, let's, you know, change it up. Doesn't make sense. I suppose, in a way, it kind of does if they were trying to make it more along the lines of, like, you know, hey, you know, you had Halo 1 where the health and the health packs and, you know, things like that.
Reinforcements.
But then they go ahead and are like, you know, just, here you go, folks, here's the, you know, they get to sequels, like, okay, things have improved, and they're like, okay, well, we're doing a kind of a prequel, so things are going backwards now. Which, yeah, really doesn't make sense. I mean, well, I mean, that makes sense. But, it's just irritating. I mean, I'll be the first to admit, you know, when first, you know, I didn't have an Xbox when it came out. You know, that whole generation, I had a PS2, and then later on I got a GameCube. So, I mean, I have what worked for that generation, but I mean, I didn't have an Xbox and see much that was needed. But basically, in the end, though, I mean, I wasn't a fan of Halo 1. Played a little bit of Halo 2, and like, oh, this isn't so bad, but, you know, Time Splitters. I was like, back then, it's like, yeah, you had Time Splitters, which was like the game. May not everyone agrees, but, I mean, I personally find it to be one of the best first-person shooters out there just because it was crazy fun. And you could fight against bots, too. It's like 4 players, same split screen. You can fight bots or other players you want. Got several teams going, doing things all at once. It's great. But yeah, as I was saying, though, I mean, I wasn't a huge fan of the... Yeah, I hated the original Halo. And it's funny, it's like, you know, playing the Anniversary Edition, I'm like... You know, it has the shiny graphics, which just make, you know, the horrible aging that much more noticeable, because, you know, things like fighting hunters in Halo Anniversary Edition, you're like, oh, okay, it's like, I'll just blow off the back panel, I'll, you know, do a pummel for the win, and it's like, no, apparently it doesn't work, because, yeah, they don't have the blow-off back panel. There are other things that come to mind, like, it's hard to say, really. That, you know, it's been a while since I played Combat Evolved, but that was one of the biggest things for me. I was playing, it's like, and these points where I'm like, you know, being able to blow the panel off Hunter's back and just, you know, go for the kill would be nice, except, the game, like, said, you know, no. I thought it was kind of lazy for them to go ahead and basically just do a reskin on the original, you know, on the original system that they had. It's like, you couldn't have, like, done a remake that was, it's like, I mean, I was expecting an actual remake, not, you know, reskin, which, reskin is just, it just, you know, when you see the original, with the original graphics, thinking, okay, it's, man, that guy wasn't going to survive those fuel rods at all. I say, yeah, I mean, you see in the original graphics thinking, no, it's an old game, I mean, some of the issues are passable, but then you know, you see it with the shiny new graphics, like, oh, this game plays like ass. It's just a delight. By delight, I mean, fuck it all, you know. So I'll beat it, and then I'll just, like, kind of sit there waiting for, you know, Halo 4 to come out.
Overkill.
Yeah, that was awesome. I could not survive that. So yeah, I mean, they've greatly improved things in Halo series from 1 to 2, and then to 3. Then they kind of went backwards horribly with Halo Reach. But yeah, I'm hoping it goes back to normal with, you know, Halo 4. Thanks for watching, everyone. Until next time.